Hey everyone, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Muffy Winter Fashionista card. I have all of my pieces cut out, as should you, so let's just jump right in. And we're going to begin by putting together the face of the card, which features this beautiful pattern that has this beautiful winter scene in it. And this black piece is the foundation of it all. So we're going to take this stone color that I inked with a little bit of turquoise. We're going to glue this down. It's going to be flush here, flush on the side, flush on this side, with a little bit of the black revealed here. Okay. So it's almost like she's in some sort of a structure. I don't know, it could be a castle or, I don't know, a swanky hotel. Maybe she's on vacation somewhere. And there's a beautiful snowy scene in the background. So just want to make sure that we get this in place accurately as possible. Okay. And it might help just to kind of hold this in the air so you can actually see everything. And that worked out nicely. Beautiful. Okay, next we're going to take this piece, and this piece is going to be flush. It's going to be flush on the bottom and flush up against this stone piece as well. Okay, just like that. And it should end up being flush on the left-hand side here as well. Okay, so let's get that glued into place. I know you guys really love our lady cards, so hopefully this one follows suit. There's so many different variations of these that we've seen over the years. We've had two releases, one that was a little vintagey, and then one that was kind of summery, I guess you could say. Okay, just check to see that that's nice and flush on the side. Push that in a little bit. There we go, perfect. Okay, so now this whole thing is going to go on our card base. Now, take a look at the card base. You'll notice on one side there's a set of little markers. You want to keep that on the inside. Okay, so the outside should not have those markers. I'm going to open this up just so I can see it better. Make sure that the alignment is in check here. Okay, and it's going to go on just like that. Flush at the top, flush here, and flush here. So let's flip this over and get our glue going. And as I mentioned in the video for our Giselle card, I do recommend inking these projects. It really just kind of takes them to a whole nother level, not to sound cliche, but it really does. So I'm actually working on and focusing on the bottom and the right hand side for alignment, and naturally the rest of it will just kind of fall into place. Okay, since those are the longer sides, if we get those set correctly, the rest of it should be a cakewalk. Okay, so there we go. That's good. And now we do have these little pieces here. They're going to fit in like a little puzzle, and that's going to go there. And I did ink this and also ran it through an embossing folder to give it kind of a distressed, sort of grungy sort of feel. I think the intention here was to sort of make it look like a wall, like a stone wall of some sort. Okay, there we go. That was pretty dead on. And then we'll do this side here. That's going to go on just like a little puzzle as well. And then we can put beautiful Mrs. Muffy together. There we go, just like that. Mostly just paper piecing right now, nothing too difficult. Okay, so let's take a look, and actually, you know what, let's just put the inside in place real quick just to get that out of the way. So as I mentioned, we do have these little markers here to help us with the alignment of all three of these pieces. We've got this main piece. This is the area where you can write your little message, do your stamping, do a print to cut. If you know how to use the pen tool and you have a pen tool on your machine, you can do that. I recommend using like a single line font. Those look a lot classier than those bubble fonts. And use those little markers to help you with the placement. Hopefully you can see the inking that I did on those, or on that piece, as well as this one actually. So definitely take your time and do some inking on these pieces, on this card, actually all these cards, because the assembly goes really quick. So you got plenty of time to add a touch of inking to your project. I'll just really set it off and make it look that much more special. Your recipient will love these cards, I'm sure. Okay. All right, let's use that little guide there. Get that in place. And of course, even though we have a guide, you still want to give it just kind of a visual appraisal, approval, whatever you want to call it. Okay, that looks good. So we'll close that up and onto Mrs. Muffy here. Okay, I already sort of laid everything out. Okay, and I'll just kind of go like this. Okay, so this piece here without any cutouts is our main layer. We're going to put this layer on next. So let's get our glue going. This is going to go super quick, super easy. The way that it was engineered makes it, well, almost foolproof. Okay, just go easy on the glue here. There we go. And I just want to match this up with the existing shadow. Just kind of scan around clockwise, counterclockwise, however you want to do it. Just make sure everything matches up. You shouldn't really see any of the dark pink showing up along the perimeter. Okay, next we're going to grab our pattern paper. This is pretty much the only pattern that you need to select, and that will ultimately decide what her coat looks like, as well as her hat. Okay, so let's get the glue going on that. And just like we did with the previous layer, that's just going to go on following the previous layer, the perimeter. So just be careful as you put that into place. Go easy on the glue here. Okay. And I'm kind of starting up at the top. Now I'm looking at the area where her hair is. Okay, I'm looking at the perimeter. Perfect. And you can see we already have the lips cut out, so we don't need to deal with the small piece there. And there we go. Okay, wonderful. All right, so next what we can do is let's get her hair in place. Okay, so we're going to start with the black layer, and then the brown layer is going to go on top of the black. And I did hit her hair with a little bit of ink, just in a few spots, just to give it some interest, so it's not all just one color. It's almost like she just got some highlights or just got her hair done. Looks really nice. It's nice and flowing. There we go. Okay, and just try to be as accurate as you can placing this onto the black piece. You can see that we've left the eyelashes as part of the black piece, so don't have to deal with that little section either. Perfect. Okay, and now you can see here the little outline of the hat. You can see exactly where that's going to go, and you can already see her face coming and just kind of magically appearing. So that's really cool. I'm really proud of the work that my team does as far as the layering goes. Just makes it real simple. So you don't run into too many mistakes, and boy, you imagine having to work with all these tiny little pieces. Now, it's not to say that we don't occasionally have that sort of situation where you end up with some little tiny pieces to work with, but whenever possible, we try to avoid that. Okay, so that's in place. That looks great as it is. Now we've got one side of her little coat there. We do have this piece. It's going to go right on the end of it like that. So let's throw a little bit of glue on this first. And for this tiny little piece, just go easy on the glue, nice and thin. We don't need a lot. And just match that up. You can see that little cutout there, that little V shape. Just match that up, press that down. Okay, and as you can see, that's going to go right here, and that's going to give her wardrobe a little extra dimension. It's going to fit in just like a little puzzle piece. So let's get that glued into place. Nice and easy. Pop that little corner piece in first right there. Match up the side here. Follow that along to the little strand of hair that she has coming down, and that should fit perfectly. Okay, wonderful. Now we have one more little piece like this for this side of the little collar. Okay. And just line that up, match up that little V shape, and the rest of it should just fall into place. Perfect. Okay, what's missing here? We have a little piece of gold for the little pom-pom on the top of her hat. Don't forget that. I think one little drop of glue for that will do. Don't need any more than that on such a small little piece. Oops. There we go. Cute. Okay, so now let's put together the little muff portion. Well, actually, before we do that, this little piece, actually, I'm sorry, there are two patterns that we're going to need to pick out. This little piece here is actually for the hat. So we're going to flip that around. And okay, there we go. Just making sure that I'm on track here. I'm going to use 3 foam squares, 2 on the sides, 1 in the center. And you could technically glue this down flat if you want to. But you might as well add a little bit of dimension to this beautiful card by using some foam squares here. There we go, just like that. Lovely. Okay, now let's put together her little muff, and we're going to do that like so. Okay, you can see that the inking really helps separate these 3 sections. So you could do without it, but if you're using a pattern, things might get lost a little bit. So I do recommend breaking out those inks and inking these pieces to create that separation that makes this look more dimensional. Okay, there we go. Make sure this is nice and flush on the bottom. Then we'll take this piece with the 2 sections already connected and glue it to the largest segment, like so. Again, making sure it's all nice and flush there at the bottom. Perfect. Okay, now this is also going to be foam squared on. Okay, we also have this little guy here. And the black part is going to be the base. And we're going to take and glue the gold on top of that. Now this is a pretty delicate little section here. I would apply the glue and then just kind of thin it out. Just dab it, tap it, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to focus on matching up the little circle there in the center first. Make sure you don't, I'm using gold foil here. So if you have glue on your fingers, like I do, and you're working with gold foil, just be careful that you don't accidentally get that glue on the surface of the gold. It is not very forgiving. Actually, I read a comment on in our Facebook group the other day that someone ran into that problem, and I think they said that somehow they wiped it off. I don't remember what they said, but yeah, it's definitely possible. I've had mixed results with it, but either way. We also have this little black piece. It's like it almost looks like a little Pac-Man. Okay, and that's going to go right here with the Pac-Man mouth open to the left, like so. Okay, and then on this piece, you'll notice that there are some little score marks. These last 2 little beads, I guess you'll call them, they terminate right there. Okay, and then this one's going to terminate right here, like so. Okay, so it's going to lay like that. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so I'm going to put some glue here, a little bit down here on this little tassel. Same thing with this black apply your glue, but then just kind of dab it with your finger so that it doesn't come squirting all over the place. It's just very small little section, very thin little piece, so just be careful. And that's just going to go right there. Bam. Got it. Okay, perfect. All right, flip that over, give that an extra press. And then we can take, and actually, you know what we should do? Let's go ahead, and she is actually going to be foam squared on here. You can see the little shadow there and how she lines up. She's going to be flush on the bottom and flush with that little cutout. So let's flip her over and start applying some foam squares. I'm going to go top, bottom, and then just kind of work my way around the perimeter. Try to evenly space them out so they're all doing an equal amount of work and we're not wasting a bunch of them. I think that'll work. Give that a little push test. Make sure it's not bending too much in any of the areas. Let's peel off the backing. Again, if you don't have foam squares, you can definitely just glue this down flat. It's not going to have as much dimension, and I can't say whether or not it's going to, you know, not look as cool. I think it'd still look as cool. But these are relatively cheap and really add a lot without having to do much. Okay, so again, make sure it's flush on the bottom. Make sure it matches up with, let's see, yeah, that looks good. Okay, looking good. And then take this little piece here, and that is going to get pop dotted right there. So we can flip that over. There's also a little flower that we're going to add. Whoops, what am I doing? I was almost about to glue that down. Good thing I caught myself. Okay. Let's see here. We'll do one more there and one more there. I think that's plenty. Okay, so yeah, this is going pretty quick. These cards are always relatively quick. A lot of paper piecing. I mean, not like a lot. What I meant was, as far as the proportion of things that you need to do, it's mostly just paper piecing. And there you go. That looks great. Very comfy, very cozy looking getup that our Miss Muffy has. Okay, so that is almost done. We've got this little, I've got it in gold, this little flower here. Throw a little dot of glue on the back of that. And you can see right here, there's a set of little markers to help you with the positioning of this thing, just to make sure we get it in the right spot. And that's a perfect little spot right in the center of that to add a little pearl or a rhinestone. Okay, so she is done, and of course, it wouldn't be complete without a coordinating envelope, which we have included. All right, so as I mentioned here, we do have a coordinating envelope. Also, your download comes with solid scoreline versions of the card and the envelope. I like to use the solid scorelines on card bases, just looks a lot nicer, as well as envelopes, okay? So you can use the perforated version for those, but again, the solid scoreline version I think will look a lot better. I typically reserve the perforated scorelines for 3D projects. Okay, so we're going to begin by putting glue on this flap here, just nice and easy, all the way around the perimeter. Okay, a little bit in there, and then try to get a little bit inside of these thin little areas by the snowflake. I'm going to take this piece and just lay it flat, texture side facing away from you, and just kind of bring it in at an angle until you hit the score mark. Make sure it's centered, and then just press that down. And that usually works very well for me. Okay. You can throw a little pearl or rhinestone there in the center of the snowflake, just to kind of fill it in a bit. There we go. Okay, that looks great. And then we'll take and bring the two side flaps in, apply some glue along the perimeter here and side, like so. And then a little bit here. And bring up the bottom, press that down, kind of massage it in. There we go. You want to give that a few seconds to set. And as you can see, we've got a perfect little envelope for a beautiful card. And that is going to do it for our winter fashionista by the name of Muffy. Beautiful card. There you go. Okay, so that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please visit us on YouTube and hit that subscribe button while you're there. There's a little bell that you can hit so you get notifications anytime we release a new product, whether it be paid or free. And if you make this or anything from our Winter Fashionista bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook and do a search for Dreaming Tree Official, or you can type in this little URL that you see here at the bottom of your screen. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and also please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where we have over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly videos. I look forward to crafting with you soon.